But yeah, I think in G2 it was quite easy, especially like at the start. I feel like it's kind of similar here.
All right, today was the last day of the LEC 2025 Winter Split Week 1, and I am in the presence of Mickey. And Mickey, ever since you entered the LEC in 2016, you've been fighting against Fnatic for several years, right? You played a total of 95 games against them. You won 61% of the time as well. So, how does it feel to now be joining the enemy in a way, right? Like, has it been a bit weird for you as well?
I mean, feels a bit weird, but at the same time, even when I was playing against them in the past, it always felt like a team that I had some kind of connection with because it was kind of the first team that saw me in a way, like
Yeah,
scouted
you
me.
were a sub back then,
Because
right?
I started as a sub, yeah. So in a way, I didn't really see them as like enemies, I guess. Maybe until like G2 Fnatic, that was like the whole rivalry. So
Yeah.
maybe at that point it was more like that. But yeah, I mean, it for sure took some time getting used to everything. But
Mm.
I think now it's kind of settled in, I guess.
Yeah, and with this move as well, obviously it means I guess a new rivalry for you as well, like a bit of a grudge match against G2 in particular. And it's
Yeah.
been very interesting because I saw like people like Romain go on podcasts and say like, yeah, G2 needed like this new start. Like Mickey in particular, like you needed to maybe like separate yourself from G2 and like have this new journey in a way to like be a new player and like go back to the strength that you had back in like 2023, for example, or even before. Do you agree with this as well? Like, how do you see this matchup that's coming up against G2 as well?
Well, I guess I don't really see the first like argument the same way.
Yeah,
That I needed like a new start or whatever.
yeah.
Um, I think for sure like changes were necessary in the team, but
Hmm.
personally, not what I would change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to playing them for sure. Like that's kind of my most uh, hype matchup. Right now they're not doing too well. Like currently they're 0-2, so
Yeah.
let's see if they can bounce back. But if not, that would be a bit lame if they just like are losing to everyone. I wanted them only lose to me.
Yeah,
So,
fair.
so yeah,
Obviously, like the dream scenario is beating them in the finals, right?
yeah, that'll be pretty nice. Semi-final works as well, I don't really mind.
Yeah, that's
Just at
fair.
some point in the best of five, yeah.
And also like over the years, there's been so much like turnover in the league as well, and we're seeing so many rookies now. So I want to ask you, like, how does it feel to, I guess, become one of the boomers of the LEC? Because you're the third oldest player in the league now, which feels a bit crazy to say, honestly. And like, if you talk to all these kids nowadays, like you tell them about go for lols and everything, like they will never know what you're talking about, right? So like, how does it feel to now be going against all these rookies? And obviously, do you think you can combat the allegations of being washed up and still beat all these younglings as well?
And yeah, it's a little bit messed up that like I'm the third oldest because I used to always make fun of like Jankos and like the old players in LEC about how
Hmm.
washed they are.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is that I'm playing support, so it's harder to notice that I'm actually washed compared to like other roles. So
Yeah.
I have that going for me. But overall, I don't think like any of the rookies coming in are like extremely good because I felt
Hmm.
like in the past years, or at least like I don't know, starting like 2017, 18, 19, I feel like there was always like some big names that was kind of hyped. Like even from solo queue, people would always be like, "Oh yeah, this guy's like really good. Like he's gonna do well."
Yeah.
Like I remember even 2019, there came in like Nemesis, Humanoid, Larson, same time,
Yeah.
and they were all very hyped. I feel like nowadays it feels a bit more random how people join like the LEC. Like they get
Mhm.
picked up from like second division of whatever, So
Yeah.
yeah, it feels a bit more random this time around. Like, because I get it, when like people win new masters, then they kind of prove themselves. But
Mhm.
a lot of the out of pickups are a bit more random. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's kind of my take on that.
Yeah. And aside from this, like something that also has been said a lot this offseason is like last year, I guess on G2, because you guys played together for like 2 years and you were like such good friends and stuff, in a way it felt different than at the start, as in like you didn't challenge each other as much because you like had a lot of like chemistry together, and then those like I guess those questions about like plays or like trying to discuss like issues with the team wasn't as easy as well. So now that you're in Fnatic as well, like are you experiencing the atmosphere with this team? Is it like a lot different from last year, I guess?
I mean, I guess discussing like and just having arguments about the game or just like discussing possibilities, it always or like giving feedback. I think it always comes up to the individual how good they are at receiving it. And
Hmm.
usually it's always way easier to do it at the start, and it gets harder and harder the longer you work with someone or the more you see like similar mistakes.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I mean, right now we're pretty good in that regard in Fnatic, right? Because it's kind of the start.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes for like the future, I guess. But yeah, I think in G2 it was quite easy, especially like at the start. Um, I feel like it's kind of similar here, but still it's easier when there's like kind of a rookie, like Yike, for example, when he was a rookie.
Mm.
It was easier
Yeah.
to give him feedback and for him to receive it. But here, I guess we're kind of like 5 veterans, so everyone kind of has their own way of thinking or playing the game. So I assume it's like gonna be like down the road harder to like talk about mistakes or feedback,
Mm.
but because like compared to a rookie at least. But still, I think it shouldn't be that big a problem as long as everyone is mature about it, which I think we are in this team.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that sense, I think it's gonna be all right.
Yeah, and something that's very interesting is obviously all the tier lists that come before the split, right? And I'm seeing so many people put Fnatic first place in the LEC. I mean, obviously there's like Core, there's KC as well, and I mean G2 right now are on the slump a bit. So, do you think it would be fair to say that you guys are actually favored for this split, or do you not see it that way?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say so. I think so
Mm.
far, like most of the games we play, like scrims at least, like that's the biggest sample size. I think we are doing very well and winning quite convincingly. I feel like. I think like the game we lost on stage, the first game was like pretty rough, like from draft onwards, and I feel like everyone was kind of choking because usually that's
Yeah.
kind of how it goes in the first game, like me included. Like there was one mid play where I like missed W on the virus where Rail was next to him, and like it was like crazy. But yeah, I feel like the more we play, the better we're gonna get, and I feel like already our ceiling is quite high. Like individually, everyone I think is very good. I think it's just about us getting on the same page with which should be better with time. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like we have a very good shot, and I guess another thing is that all the other teams I think are not very strong, so that makes it easier for us to win, I would say.
Yeah. And I mean, with this new Fnatic roster as well, do you feel like you're doing charity work and saving Grabb's career as well? Because I mean, he's been on a break for like 2 years, and I mean, we all know what went on in 2022 as well. So, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to be working with Grabbz again. I think I've missed like a coach like him. He's like just very open-minded and does whatever he needs to do and doesn't have
Hmm.
like an ego about it. He will just do
Yeah.
whatever is necessary for the team, which I really appreciate. And yeah, I mean, I hope I can return the favor by winning him a split. So he's back from the 10th place to first place to back to 10th. Now he's back to first.
Yeah, that would be great. And yeah, just I guess like finally as well, like so far people have been criticizing, I guess, like Fnatic's inconsistency, especially like I mean, this is something that has been happening for years, right? And we saw it a bit in game one as well. So, what do you think you guys still need to work on as well to be that top one team, like undisputed, I guess?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I noticed, at least from our first two games, I think third one was kind of like decent, but like the first two, I think there was just a lot of clutter in comms. Like everyone just needed to get their voice out, I guess. Everyone just talked over each other, so it was quite messy in the comms. Everyone wanted to do their own thing.
Yeah,
So I feel like when we start actually planning further ahead and everyone being on the same page about it, I think that's when things are gonna be way easier and way clearer and cleaner, I guess, the games.
yeah,
Because right now it just felt like random. We just like see a kill and like, oh, let's go kill this guy. And then even though we kill him, it makes the game a bit more chaotic or volatile
hmm,
instead of just like playing for objectives or like you decide like a few minutes in advance like what you want to play for, and then if someone ends, sure, kill them. But the objective is still the same. But it felt like yeah, at least the first two games everyone was just like okay. The first one we were just like choking like mechanically as well, but then the
yeah,
second one we were just like playing for kills mostly. I mean, Hillesang was like really making it easy for us to get kills. So it
yeah.
was hard to play for objectives in that one. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think today we did a better job in that regard where we actually played for objectives. But then if they ran into us and wanted to die, then we just killed them, you know. So I
Yeah.
think today was decent improvement. It was still not like the strongest team, so it's not too much to take away from it. So I'm looking forward to playing like some stronger teams and seeing if how we do against them and if we still get like too hyped or too excited or But I think it should be good.
Yeah. And also just to finish up, have you been able to bring anime culture to Fnatic as well?
Nah, not quite. I mean, so Razak doesn't watch at all. For some
Yeah.
reason, he says that if he would watch something, he would just like buy all the merch because that's what he did with Arcane. He just like started buying merch. So instead with anime, he would do the same, which is
Yeah.
like it doesn't really make sense in my head, but like sure. I guess Marek started watching Solo Leveling, which we told him, so that's good.
Okay.
I didn't watch season 2 yet. I'll wait for him to catch up.
Yeah.
Upset watches and Oscar watches, so that's good.
Nice.
But I didn't really actually watch anything together. Everyone just kind of does their own thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And actually, the very last question, I actually went and talked to Bruna from Mikyx Daily. You might know her on Twitter.
Yeah.
And she had a question for you as well, because obviously you have a very united fan base, right? And they're still following you even after leaving G2. And I just want to ask you for her, obviously, how do you feel about having such a dedicated following? And also, she wanted to know what was the reason why you picked the dino emoji for your fan base as well.
Mhm. Okay, so I mean, I think it's quite nice and wholesome, I guess, to have so many fans to be supportive for so many years because especially when you're losing, it feels like kind of the world is against you. So when you have this kind of fans where they'll always support you or like send some nice words your way, it always feels better. Like to not give up, I guess, when you're losing, especially. And why I chose the dino emoji? Well, I like dinosaurs. That's like the first thing. Like when I was a kid, I watched like all the Jurassic Park movies, and I was like watching them on repeat. So I really like dinosaurs. That's the first thing. And then the second thing was that everyone has like everyone that has these emojis, they had like the normal animals, and then some of them just have people just have the same one. So I need to have one that is like, no one else will take.
More
So no one
unique.
will take dinosaurs. Yeah, that's why
Perfect.
I like it.
Well, I mean, in any case, Mickey, that's all the time we have. But thank you so much for talking with us. It's always a pleasure. And I mean, new colors, new you, I guess. And hopefully the next few weeks will be going great for you. So I wish you the best of luck. Thank you again. And
Thank you.
have a good night for now.
You too. Bye-bye.